My card of the day. Only got a short time in here today, just bringing up on my phone. And just so everyone knows, and I say this every time I come in, I know this is broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So it is live in both places simultaneously. It is broadcasting through Be Live TV. So when you're live on Facebook, you're also, if you're asking for cards and stuff, you're also on YouTube as well. So you can always check out the videos there as well. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I have a very short time today. I have a very, very busy day with clients, but I wanted to get my morning card in and to also come in and help through some of this energy we have happening. Good morning, Tracy and Lisa. Good morning. Just letting a few people get in. I don't have time to wait for a whole bunch of people to get in. Some may have to watch the replay, watch it later. I'm all to the side today. I can't get straight. And that's kind of where my energy is. I can't get straight. I've been up all night, pretty much. It's been a crazy, crazy energy. So if you're feeling the crazy energy, you may be like a fire sign like me. If you're a water sign, you may be just like floating her through. But there is a peaceful calm that's supposed to be with this moon. I'm not feeling it. And the reason why I'm not feeling it is that this moon truly is about, it's about release, let go. But some of the things that are coming up for me, it's very uncomfortable because I know it is shedding. So there's parts of me that are leaving. So you have these, you may feel uncomfortable and you don't know why, or irritated. And it's because you're kind of moving beyond. It's like so if you have not watched my weekly forecast reading, I posted that on YouTube yesterday. And I don't know why, but a lot of my posts are getting very few views. So it's whatever Facebook has done is that most people will not even see the post that I am making. So in my Facebook group, and on my page, you literally will have to go find them. That's how bad it has gotten. So you have to go find them. And also, if you're adding me as a friend on my personal page, I will be trying to transfer everybody over to here and not putting them on my personal page, because I'm downsizing the personal page and bringing everybody over to this page. So, and so I'm trying to get everyone into here. But the posts are going like very few places, and I get all the statistics and I see where it's going. And literally, if I want it to go somewhere, I have to pay to boost them to just be seen, and it's bullshit. So there is a lot of that energy, right? Feeling the peace, right? And so there is, and yeah, so Lisa's like, she's feeling the peace. I am like irritated as shit, and but at peace. Like, it's weird. It's a weird kind of feeling. But in the weekly that I put out, so if you go to YouTube and watch the weekly forecast reading, and the link is posted on Facebook. So if you go there and you read it, I speak about being backed in the corner. It's like we're being backed in the corner, and like we're finding our way out. We're edging our way out. And so because we're edging our way out, we're actually coming into freedom. But it's uncomfortable because you got to, it's kind of, you got to push your way through. So you're wedging your way through, but there's an excitement that you're going to get there. And so that kind of energy is there. But it's irritating that you got to work so fucking hard to get there. And I think that's part of the history of what's been coming up for me, is that I'm 50 years old. I've had to work my ass off in this lifetime. Like nothing has been easy, and nothing has come easy. And now to have places like Facebook and those places, and I do find myself getting frustrated sometimes. I always speak about living in the middle, being in the middle. Like I've been preaching that since all of this began and before. Like I live in the middle of crossroads. I come in, I operate from that place, from a place of faith. I stay in the middle. It's like not taking the angry stand, not letting hate get in the way, to stay in a place of love. And then all of a sudden you see one little post that's just like, oh, just stay in the middle. And everybody's like, and I'm like, like we've been speaking this language for thousands of years. So what I've come to understand is some of this, what I have is actually my channels. Is what's channeling through me. It's not even my energy. So my Marys that channel through me, those things, it's like they're kind of like that whole, how long have we been speaking? How long have we been talking? So there's a lot of so there's a lot of energy that I have to decipher through on whether or not it is mine and whether or not it is just the world energy or the energy that is outside of there. So yeah, you too, Tracy, right? Yeah. And so, everybody's going to be different because your astrological birth chart, everybody sits differently. So Mars is in Cancer, and Mars is my ruling planet. So, and Cancer is my moon, and so it's my descending, and so it is my moon. So it's very emotional, and I'm a freaking fire sign. So there is a lot of emotional energy that is coming up right now. So if you go look at your birth chart, you'll understand a whole lot more about what you are feeling and why. And that it's not always a personal thing. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You are not broken. There's not something, it is the changing of the tides. And we have a changing of seasons. We have a changing of energy. The tides are changing. And that I can tell you, the tides are changing. And when these tides change, it often comes with a big ass freaking storm. So there's a big ass storm that often comes for tides to change. So I would say I live in a reality of what has to happen in order for us to get to somewhere. And there is some big tides of change that has to take place. And I feel it. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul. I feel it everywhere. And I know it's there because the Mary Ellen that speaks through me is a Beothic woman, Beotuck. And right now, that tide of change in Newfoundland is large right now where I'm from, right in my hometown. There's a huge conversation about, well, it wasn't even a conversation. It was done underhandedly, secretly kind of thing, in my opinion. I don't know for sure, but changing the name of our lake. Which is a massive lake, which is all tied around the Beothic Indians and who were canceled. Let's just put it that way, canceled to serve the highest good of so-called of some people, right? And so the extinction of the Beothic culture and the race and the cruel story that goes with it is all, and the fact of the red Indian is the red ochre that they painted their faces with. There's so much history that ties to it. And right now we are witnessing somebody trying to change the name and giving it a Micmac name of peace. And I'm like, it was not peaceful. It is not peaceful. And that lake has never been peaceful because the spirits that live there keeps those tides alive. The water is alive. The land is alive. The area is alive. And to change the name because it makes people uncomfortable, like really, you should be uncomfortable enough to go back and look up history. You really should. Because when you look up history, there's a real reason why we should be walking the middle road right now and not doing the things that we are doing to each other out of dignity and respect as a human, and that how important it is for us to be connected to the human race. And I mean as humanity, to be kind to each other no matter what. Like, it's just something that it's like, and I know it's rising from my channel, Mary Ellen. I know where she is speaking from. I know where she is coming from. And there's so many things that, you just want to be able to spew out, but you're a channel, you're a mystic, you're a healer. Like, that's not accepted all over the world and everywhere that needs to hear that voice. And so there's a lot of things that are kind of at play. And so when you really start to look at history, you see how cancel culture, and you heard me speak of this around Easter time when I said, see what cancel culture did to Jesus, right? And by that, I don't mean to, I know change has to happen, but it's what we do when we get the conviction in our hearts of hate and anger to get our own way and to make something a certain way, what we think it should be, and not to explore or consider everyone else that is involved. And by those choices and those decisions, it causes more separation, more divide, and we have to start really coming back home. And that's why my 5th book, The Way, is written about the way home. Really, truly is living from the middle, looking at the end of the story and what it takes to come back together after the storm. Because that's where the strength and the courage is when you have the strength and the courage to see what it takes to rise from the storm and to always know that you stayed in the middle road, that you tried to tell, you tried to speak, you tried to say, you know what you're doing when something catastrophic happens. And I did a post about this way back. When something catastrophic happens, you have to remember, if you chose those sides and whatever you were on, whatever you pushed, your agenda you pushed, you contributed to that hate, to that anger. And to not to contribute to that, to stay in the energy of love will speak volumes to how we show up as a world, to be better as a human race. And there's no way around it. It's like, if we want to be better, to do better, we need to all come back home. We need to look at our own actions and take responsibility for our own selves. Because I'm telling you, there's just so much. Like, why divide people more? The agenda to spread fear, to separate people, is disgusting. And it actually disgusts me. So it's like I lose a lot of respect, not dignity. I still have dignity for humanity, but I lose a lot of respect for that sense of, you're not good enough for me. I'm going to cancel you out. It's like there's a middle road. And from that middle road, that's the place where Jesus walked. And look what happened to him. All because he spoke messages of peace. All because he spoke, we don't all have to be the same, but we all have to live together. But our history is so important, because our history should be the defining factor of why we should not be repeating the things that we are doing now. So, I have a lot more that I could say about that, but that's the channeled message that was not in my plan. I don't know where that just came from, but we'll let it out. It is a part of what needed to be said, I guess, this morning. So it's what it is. I hope in some way it helps and resonates with everybody, right? Exactly. We have no right to cancel anyone or anything out. Exactly. Let me read back. Sorry, I couldn't read the comments because I was channeling a message there, and I can't read the comments and channel because it takes way too much to channel. Right? Yeah, feeling that. Yeah, Carlene, you get, yeah, because I know you always get them because you're always commenting. So I know you see it. Constantly pushing out of my comfort zone right now, and so irritable, right? Yes, it will all be worth it. Exactly, Ellie. It is just, and that's a big thing for me as well. Like, as long as I have been doing this, was I'm really truly discovering, like, when I channel and stuff, I kind of like, sometimes I soften the message because I don't want anyone to, like, I'm always trying to consider that message coming out. And sometimes it's not meant to be. Sometimes I just have to let it out. And I always carry that sense. I don't ever want to hurt anybody. If I hurt anybody, it is never an intention. Like, I would never, ever intentionally hurt anyone. I've been like that since I was born. I cry if someone laughed at me, if I said something inappropriate, or if I swore as a kid and someone laughed at me. Like, if I happened to let out a swear word by accident or something, I would cry and I would run away in shame. And I would shame myself for any bad behavior. And it was like, and that would be, it's that sensitive soul, right? So becoming brave and courageous enough to let myself be all of who I am, and to never wear any mask, to never hide who I am as a mystic, who I am as a prophetess, who I am as this healer that I am, has really taken some work. So don't hide who you are ever. Oh, as soon as I come on here, you get it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's all the stuff that I post during the week, like even my events and stuff. People are not seeing them. It's weird. Sacred ground deserves to be honored and understood, not buried. Exactly. And it is sacred ground. It's actually a sacred burial ground as well. You finally caught alive. In Newfie time. I know there's such a big time difference. And I have people from all over the world that join these lives. I also have people that join in, different times and you watch the replay. And if you watch the replay, I'm so thankful you actually sit and watch my replay. If you just sit, if you're here and you watch and you don't comment, I am equally as thankful. I'm just thankful that people join me, that people follow through. And so I am in quickly today and out, and I have to keep watching the time because I start work with my clients at 10 a.m. And then I'm going straight, this came falling out. So this is our first card. So I'm going from here to work into sessions instantly. So good thing I get up and meditate early in the day. So our card that we have, I'm going to put the two of them up at once. So we have Emi. So this is the beautiful Emi. And just as I spoke that message, I know it wasn't by accident. The way home. The way home. It is not comfortable. It may not be easy. You may have to squeeze your way through things. You may have to look at the uncomfortableness of history in the past, and you may have to explore where you have been. But the journey to home is well worth it. And that is how, when we stop living, when we start just existing, as you know, when we start living our life as just existing and fear leads our way, well, that's how uncomfortable it is. And we create that to be, we start to call that our comfortable place, but I'm comfortable. No, you're not comfortable. You're fearful. And that fearfulness of change is because we don't want to have to face having to make a change, because change can be work. Change is actually work. And we don't want to have to work so hard at life. Life is joyful work when we see ourselves living our truth. And when you recognize the areas of how much you created your life from the persona, from the mask, from the conditioning, from the program of the, well, I just, I became this, I live this, and we don't speak that way. We don't do that. We don't speak up. We bury everything underneath the rug. All of that is like, is that really comfortable truth? And how can you ever know peace? And I'll say this time and time again. This is in my blog of last week. How can you ever know peace when your whole world is the unseen wounds that is of the times where you have not been able to speak up, when you have suppressed everything, when you have hidden secrets, when you're told to just let that go. Don't tell anybody. Don't speak of that. We don't talk about that stuff in our lives. So are you living in peace, or are you living imprisoned? And there's a huge difference. Peace is not prison. And it was through the beautiful Corrie Temple, who showed up, and she's a woman who spent many years in prison. She showed up randomly one night on my YouTube, popped up, and nothing ever happens randomly in my world. And she showed up, and I listened to her whole documentary of being imprisoned back in, back in the time of the wars and in Germany and during all of these times. And she talks about being in jail. And she talked about she had a choice in jail. While she was in jail, she had a choice to let herself truly suffer, to struggle, to let herself die while alive. Or she had a choice to stand up and walk her light, to live in the light, to inspire, to speak truth. And so she chose. She chose to not let herself be in her own prison while she was in prison. And she started to speak the word of God in her way. And so now she found herself. What she had done, she had found her way through surviving where she could not get herself out of, believing with all faith, not leaving her middle road, not losing her faith in knowing that her day would come when she would be set free, whether set free from that prison, whether it was the end and she'd go home, or whether it was going to be freedom from that place. But either which way, she was going to live in peace in her heart while she was alive. And the journey of that woman, and you can follow her work everywhere, is incredible. And so that whole Emi is that whole sense of the I am, the power of the I am. When you start to make things not about you in an egotistical way, but about the same way that you would show dignity to humanity, you show your human self the same dignity, the same respect, that you are here to live while you're alive. And so be to not let yourself be dead while you're alive, to not just exist, to not less, to come to life. And so our temptations card that comes with this is that we're so tempted to try to break away from our faith, to lose hope, to not have compassion. We all, it's like we get so tempted to just walk away and just say, I'm done. I can't do, it's too hard. It's too hard to become uncomfortable. It's too hard to create the life that I want. It's too hard to spiritually awaken. And that's why people wear the freaking shirt and don't do the work. It's like, yeah, you can take yourself to a yoga class. Yeah, you can go train to be a healer. You can go do all of this. But are you doing the work? And the work means is that you have to really look inside of you. You have to let your stories die. The stories that create the reality that you create about how the world is so awful to you or how things are so awful. And you have to create that world. You have to create your peace. And creating your peace means you have to set yourself free. Right? You have to set yourself free. Friends, I will fight for justice. Yes. And so there's right, and it's like how we fight. If we fight from a place of the power of love and in the power of love, instead of in a power of conviction of our mind and what we don't know and the ignorance, when we discover truth, we discover so much more. Right? Are you connecting the dots? Yes, I believe so. And so there's, right. And so if you look at her temptation, we are all one. That is one thread in that unity card. It is one thread. Beautiful Amelia, when she created this card, she created it with one thread. One thread joins us all. We are all children of the God consciousness. We are all one. But we are in the times, since the beginning of times, of for some reason, human ego is always trying to divide us, always trying to separate us, always trying to make us be enemies to each other. And then we also become, and how that starts is we become enemies of our own mind. It's time for us to stop being enemies of our own minds. It's time for us to stop creating stories and assuming we think we know people. We have to stop assuming the stories of if we are a certain belief, a certain race, then we're a certain way. And we have to start believing that we are all humans and we are all divinely dignified and that life is actually in the hands of God consciousness and not always in our own hands. And if we let go of that control and we let love back in, we're going to see a big change. So the way home, and what my message of this week, if you go to YouTube and listen to my channeled message of this week, is that we are coming out, we are squeezing our way into freedom. There will be a storm, but there is storms. Tides are changing. In order for tides to change, it means it needs wind, it needs air, it needs to be able to breathe, and it needs a change agent. And the change agent has to be us. To be the change that we want to see in the world, it means that we have to be the change within us. To the middle road is we don't cause the storms. We just know the storms are coming. We don't cause the storms. We know they're coming. But we become the humanitarian of that change, of that time, to be there when all else fails. And to be able to stand up and not be able to rub it in people's faces and say, I told you so. But to be able to say, are you now ready? Are you now ready to let things die? Are you now ready to let it go? Are you now ready to set yourself free? And that is the beauty of that rainbow bridge. Raising our vibration, raising our sense of awareness, becoming more and more consciously aware of what is happening, of what we are doing and what we are contributing to. So I hope in some way this resonates with you today. This was definitely not in my plan of today, but we let it ride. Whatever my beautiful channels give to me, I speak. And so we speak that truth. But Please feel free to share these videos. And let's just hope that we can see this change in the world. This is my deck of oracle cards, my creation, channeled messages. Couldn't make this shit up, that most resonate to everything that is taking place now. It was my journey through my depth of darkness of inspiration and attitude. And I had to become my own inspiration. And I also had to take a really freaking good look at my own attitude. And that is the journey of being able to heal. The artist is the beautiful Amelia Richard, who's seen the beauty in me even in the days that I couldn't. So, and she's seen the beauty in being able to create inspiration and attitude all in one card. So the death card is a beautiful card in our deck. So much love to you all. When all else falls, beautiful, right? Conscious awareness of our own part. You're very welcome, Lisa. Yeah, exactly. When all else falls, to be beautifully aware. Thank you all for being with me today. Thank you for coming in and listening today. I know it is short, but it is a short message, but it's a big message. If you want more of my message, go to my forecast reading that's in YouTube today. Go into that one. Hopefully I'll get the other podcast out this week. So much going on. And hey, one last thing. Hey, if you're interested in taking a healing, transformation, ascension course with me, my new Diamond Effects course is starting Wednesday. I'm so freaking excited to teach it. It is 9 weeks. It is 9 weeks, 90 minutes every single Wednesday. I think it's 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And it is going to be a beautiful journey that we are taking. And so if you want to get in on that course, it is in Corrie School of Magic. The link is in the Facebook page as well, that you can also get in there. So I hope to see a few of you joining me in there. It would be lovely to see you take this journey. Perfect time to take it. Much love. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye-bye.